What's up guys, Average Youth Minister here, and today I'm going to tell you about the board games that I use in youth ministry. I think there's really two big times that I use games in youth ministry. Number one is before our service starts. So before youth group on Sunday night or Wednesday night, I play games. There's always kids coming in early and I'm able to play some games with them, have a good time. And that leads us to the second reason why I play games, is that games are a great way to have conversations with students instead of them just kind of sitting around. It makes things feel a little bit more natural that you're talking to them. It's really great for new people to kind of bring them in. It's also great to have conversations for the people in your group as well. So I like to play games. And so I want to give you a few of the games that I think work really well. Now, a great youth group game for me is a game that's fast. And by fast, I mean it's got to be fast in everything it does. It's got to be easy to teach, it's got to be easy to set up, it's got to be fast to play, and it's got to be relatively easy to clean up. And it's also got to be able to play in short chunks so that we can play it before a meeting starts. So we can start it 10 minutes before we get started and still be able to get in a full game, or at least a round of the game. That's kind of the idea, is we need short, quick games. Now I have ideas from two different groups, all right? The first is a group of games that you probably have seen before or could get a hold of at your local Walmart. I tell you one of the games I love. Connect 4 is a great Connect 4 is a really great youth group game. You know why? Because it's really fast. Most people know how to play it, and it's fun to watch people get all excited when they win or when they lose. It's just an easy game to set up. You can do tournaments. You can have it just setting on the table when people walk in. And I promise you, if you have Connect 4 setting up on a table somewhere, people will walk over and play it. They know it really well. It's got a lot of good choices in it. Connect 4, fun youth group game. Now, in the same vein of stuff you can pick up quickly, Apples to Apples is another fun youth group game. You've probably played this before. I'm not a huge Apples to Apples fan, mainly because the judging mechanism where one person can decide, oh, I know you're going to win, so I don't want to pick yours, frustrates me to no end. But for before youth group, just to get people chatting and talking, it's a really good game for that. If you're not worried about who's going to win, you're just throwing out things to be fun. It allows you to have real conversations. So you can pick up Apples to Apples, good one for that. Another game, one that I don't have here, is a game called Spot It. Spot It has 2 cards that you found a matching picture on. The cool thing about Spot It is that lots of people can actually play. You flip over 2 cards, everybody's standing around, they can holler things out. It works really well, it's really easy to teach. And so Spot It's really fun, it's easy to get your hands on, and you can play it for 1 minute or you can play it for 30 minutes if everybody's still involved. Spot It works really well. Another game that I really think is fun for youth groups is this game right here. This is Looping Chewy. They make a Looping Louie game. And so it's basically, this is what it is. The guy goes around in a circle like that. You have your little people that set up, and then you have to use this little thing to flip it up so it doesn't hit your people. I know, pretty fun, huh? And you would think, well, I guess it's falling down too much because it's not on a table. There you go. He hits them and they fall down. Now, that's all there is to the game, really. But having 3 people, or the big Looping Louie version has 4 people, having them around the circle, going after those, it's just fun. So Looping Chewy is a great game. Now, let's get into the games that may be a little bit harder to find. You need to go to your friendly local board game store, or maybe some of these can be found at Books A Million or a game store like that, but all of them can be found on Amazon. So let me give you a few games that I think are really fun. In the same vein as Spot It is this game right here called Ghost Blitz. I don't have the box anymore because we just played it till the box fell apart. But Ghost Blitz is another speed game. It's very similar to Spot It. You spot the thing fastest and grab the card or whatever. It's another fun game. Works well for a lot of people. A lot of people can sit around and play. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoy it. This one, in the 2-player vein, like Connect 4, is Naya. Now, Naya is a 2-player tile laying game. It's just really pretty. It has these very pretty little tiles. See these little things, and these really cool big tokens that students could use. But it's basically it's kind of a variation on tic-tac-toe, but somebody always wins, unlike in tic-tac-toe. And it's just a really fun game to play. 2 people can play it very quickly, and you can do little tournaments. You can just have it setting up, and 2 people can grab it and play it. Another fast game is Love Letter. Now this is the Adventure Time version of Love Letter. There are all kinds of other versions of Love Letter. Love Letter is a card game for 4 players. There's only 16 cards in here. And look this up. Go check out the description for this or link for this game, because Love Letter is just a perfect youth group game. It plays very quickly. You can play one round. You can play rounds till somebody wins 3 times. It works really well, and people can play it very easily. The rules can be taught very simply. It doesn't work well like as people kind of collect around. I really like games where a bunch of people can play at once, but if you've got some people playing smaller games, Love Letter is really good. Now, for the big games, or the bigger games, this is a game called Coup. Now, everyone who ever sees it is going to try to call it Coop, and they're going to go, why is it pronounced Coup? And you're going to have to explain to them that that word is Coup. But anyway, this is a game called Coup. It's for legitimately 6 players is the best, 4, 5, or 6 players. It's easy to teach. It's a bluffing game, a lying game, and students really enjoy it. They really enjoy playing it. It works well. This is a game we play almost all the time. This is probably the game of our youth group, is this game, Coup. Another game that's about lying that we've started doing recently is a game called Crossfire. It's another bluffing game that you play where you are kind of trying to say, I'm not that person, and you're trying to find out the person that you are supposed to protect or the person you're supposed to take out, and it's just fun. Crossfire, it's another $12 game. You can pick it up easily. This one plays up to 10, and it plays to 10 well. And the cool thing about this is it has a 3-minute timer. And so once 3 minutes are done, you have to stop arguing. So the game can legitimately be played in 5 minutes. Great game for youth groups, Crossfire. We'll stick with the bluffing game, The Resistance. This one takes a little bit longer. It's a little bit bigger box. It can also play to 10 though. So this one's a little bit harder to kind of get the concepts to teach once you've taught it. Students know really well though. I really like Resistance. Now, if you just want something quick and easy, the game I forgot in the quick easy games, Zombie Dice. Now there are a couple other themes of this. I think there's an alien dice. If you don't like zombies, it's got a scary zombie on it. But Zombie Dice is basically a pressure luck kind of Yahtzee style thing where you're gonna grab, well actually not Yahtzee, you got 3 dice, you're gonna roll them, you're gonna see what you get, you're gonna press your luck to try to go further. All that it is. You're gonna keep score in your head. Zombie Dice, it's just fun. It's fun for a lot of people to grab a hold of and play. You can sit down and play with 5 or 6 people. You can play with 2 people. I use this a lot if somebody's walking in and no one's really in youth group yet and there's somebody new coming in. I'm like, hey, let's play the Zombie Dice. The 2 of us can reach out and grab it. Now, there's a couple of games that work well for big groups. If you got a lot of people around, Wits and Wagers is a fun game. You probably can get this. I know you can get this at Target. Wits and Wagers is a trivia game, but you don't have to know the answer. You just have to know who you think knows the answer. And so you can just keep betting on the person that you think is the smartest. And it's just fun. Wits and Wagers, fun trivia kind of game. There's also this game. Another game I love for youth group. These are Wits and Wagers and this are both a little longer games. This is kind of more, hey, we've got 30 minutes to kill. And that doesn't happen very often in youth ministry. But if it does, these are kind of go-to games. Dixit is a storytelling game at its heart. It's basically apples to apples with pictures, if you know what apples to apples is, except it's got a better scoring mechanism and it allows students to be creative, but more than that, it just lets you talk to students and lets you have a conversation with them, and you're sitting around the table and it just opens up chances for conversation. The pictures in it are beautiful. The artwork is fun. I've never seen anybody that I've put this out for that really didn't at least enjoy it. Some people don't ask for it again, but almost everyone enjoys it. 2 more quick games. This is Codenames Pictures. I would suggest now Codenames Disney. Codenames Disney is actually at my house. Everybody gets into the Disney characters. Works really great. Codenames works perfect for a large group of people. So you've got a bunch of people can sit down and play. And if people, it also works well with people dropping in and dropping out. So people show up, they can just fall in on a team. You don't really have to keep score. It's just a fun way to kind of pass the time. I like Codenames. Codenames Disney, really most of all. Another fun youth group game is Telestrations. You can pick this up at Walmart, probably. I know you can get it at every Target. You can get it at Toys R Us. Telestrations is a fun game because it's basically the telephone game where you call somebody or you tell somebody a secret and they tell somebody a secret and then it gets more and more confused the further down the line it goes. It's that, but with pictures. And it has some really neat books in it that let you kind of write the pictures on or whatever. This is the 8-player version. The 6-player version also works just as well. You just probably have to order the 8-player version. The 8-player just plays with more people, but it takes longer before you get to the jokes. The funny part of this is just seeing how bad pictures are. So for that, this does not play well with young people. It really doesn't even play that well with middle school students. It really doesn't play that well with young kids, because for me, the whole fun of the game is going, that's not a dog. What in the world did you draw? And just everybody laughing about it. Well, kids think they've drawn really good stuff, and you kind of offend them when you say that. Teenagers are able to laugh about it a little bit more, and so it works out a little bit better for them. So Telestrations is a really cool youth group game to play. It takes a little longer though, so it's one of those games that you may want to play when you have a little bit more time, maybe at the end of something, or just got a little bit more time in your schedule. So what you see here is all these games play fast, they play with just a few people or with a lot of people. And the cool thing about games is that games allow you to have conversations. None of these are big brain burner, everybody needs to be quiet and focused games. The idea of youth group games for me is let's throw something on the table so that we have something to kind of start a conversation, and then let's talk about our lives. And that's what we get to do. And so these are some of the games that I like to play. If you like to play games with your youth group, leave a comment in the below, and we'd love to talk to you about it. Give me some of your suggestions. If you have questions about these games, I will talk to you about those as well. I love talking about games. Games are a big part of what I do. It's what I normally do for fun. It's what I spend most of my extra income on. So I love games. And so if you want to talk about those, leave me a comment. We'll talk about games. But that was my average youth ministry tips on just a few games that you can play with your students.